What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to today's video where we are going to talk more about the Madden 20 rookie ratings. Yesterday, I did my live reaction as I literally went through like the database and clicked through. We looked at the top ones. I tried to look at the top rookies, top 5 at every single position. But follow up a pretty popular video we did last year where once all the full ratings came out, we did the best and worst rating regardless of the rookie or not on every individual team, which we will do once the full database comes to fruition here for Madden 20. But because we have full access to all of the launch ratings for the rookies, I'm going to go through each individual team and I'm going to give you what rating I think is the best rating given either they're the best player on the team or it's just that is a really good rating for that player to get. And then I'm going to give you the worst rating on every single team if it does exist. They've done a pretty decent job with the rookie ratings this season, but there are a couple ratings that either are far too low and a player got robbed or far too high and I think some biased or something mysterious went on with a certain player's rating. So actually, and to benefit those fans of the NFC West, usually we start in the AFC East and work our way down to the very bottom. I'm going to go in inverse order here just to mix it up a little bit. So starting for the best ratings and worst ratings in the NFC West, we're going to start with the LA Rams, where I think the best rating for the LA Rams was Darrell Henderson, the running back out of Memphis. 72 overall, comes with 95 acceleration, 86 carrying, and 85 juke. That 95 acceleration, he is going to be incredibly explosive out of the backfield. I know in real life, with is there arthritis, what's going on with Todd Gurley's knee, a guy like Henderson could have a big role in the coming years, sooner than later maybe, for the Rams. But in Madden anyway, he's going to have just incredible burst and should be a very fun back to use. Look at the worst ratings. I have a tie here for the Rams. Taylor Rapp getting a 68. The talented safety from Washington, thought that's a little bit low. And David Edwards, the tackle from Wisconsin, only getting a 59. Now, we know the rookie offensive line ratings are by far the lowest for this new rating scale. It's still 59 for David Edwards, who I had graded out as, I think, my 6th rated tackle. That's far too low for me. Moving to the 49ers, best rating goes to Joey Bosa, little brother, Nicholas Bosa, who got a 78 overall, 91 acceleration, 84 strength, 82 tackle, 82 pursuit. Now, I was a little bit surprised that he didn't get the highest rating in the game. We will talk about that in just one second. It was Quentin Williams. I thought Bosa would have been a lock for that, but I think 70. He's still going to be a very, very fun player. And a guy that's that strong with 91 acceleration, just incredibly explosive. And look at the rest of the ratings for the Niners. I didn't really see any bad ones. Moving to the Arizona Cardinals, best rating for them is going to be Kyler Murray, getting a 73 overall, the highest rating for any quarterback in the game, which is lower than historically the last couple of Maddens we've seen, first-round QBs, like even reaches. Like Mitchell Trubisky was a reach, and he still got like, what, a 76, 77, somewhere in that territory. So if 73 ushers in a new era of quarterback rankings, but Kyler is going to be pretty damn fun to use. 91 speed, 88 throw power, 82 short accuracy, 87 throw on the run. The rest of the ratings of the Cardinals weren't too bad, and I throw another honorable mention for a great rating to Andy Isabella, the wide receiver out of UMass. 72 overall, which is an outstanding rating for him, coming along with 95 speed and 82 catching. Then finishing up with the Seattle Seahawks, I have DK Metcalf as their best rating. I love that he got a good rating because everyone knows I'm that DK Metcalf hype train. He got a 76 overall, 95 speed, 80 catching, 86 catch of traffic. It's just going to be super overpowered. Hit him with the play action pass with Russell Wilson. He's probably one of the best PA passes on in Madden. And then just throw it to DK Metcalf, and 9 times out of 10, he's probably going to catch it in Madden. He's going to be super, super overpowered. And generally speaking, there's no negatives for the Seattle Seahawks. I start with the best and worst video, and I start with the NFC West, where their ratings, generally speaking, were really, really good. So moving up to the NFC South, we're going to start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where I think their best rating was Devin White, who got a 74 overall, 92 speed, 84 tackling, and 85 pursuit. Just a user god, the linebacker position, as we were expecting. The worst rating for me was Sean Bunting, getting a 72 overall. I know he was among some of the more hardcore draft community, an underrated prospect, which I agree. I watched a little bit of his tape, Central Michigan. I didn't see anything extensive. I know he had a lot of versatility. Some people thought he could be a better safety in the National Football League than he is a corner, but he's versatile defensive back. But I think 72, understanding that, I think Dondre Baker got a 71, and Dondre Baker was a consensus first-round pick, where Sean Bunting was a clear day 2 selection. I'd see a little bit maybe, out of Swami or the Cowboys rating guy, they're probably Sean Bunting homers, and they were able to get their guy a nice juiced up rating. Underrated rating for the Bucs, though, is Scott Miller out of Bowling Green, You want to talk about a guy that had really big-time production and just slipped through the cracks. He got a 66 overall, but don't sleep on that. 94 speed, 81 catching, a nice underrated weapon here for the Bucks, and he could very well, for your Bucks franchise, step in for Deshaun Jackson as that deep threat right away. Moving to the Atlanta Falcons, best rating for me, I give it to Kendall Sheffield of Ohio State. Just a speedster, 68 overall with 93 speed, 75 press. He'll be all right corner. I mean, they get a lot of depth there in Atlanta. So if you're looking for speedsters, I know that is pretty much the top trait that most casual players like to look for their secondary and defensive backs. A guy like Sheffield is going to kind of be buried on that Falcons depth chart. You might be able to make a move for him in your franchise modes. Worst rating, I'm going to give it to Chris Lindstrom, the guard from Boston College. He only got a 70 overall. And again, anytime I talk about worst ratings for offensive linemen, I get that they're a little bit lower this year, but I still probably would have gave Lindstrom. I'll just say right off the bat, I think they're still a little too low for my liking. Like, off the top of my head, Jonah Williams is the highest rated offensive lineman, and he got a 72. I feel like 73, 74 at least, so it gives you a little bit more parity, because I feel like Lindstrom probably should have been 72, 71, somewhere in that territory. Very, very solid and pro-ready. And I feel like a player, when you look at their scouting profile that had pro-ready, they probably should get a generous rating, not just right on the dot at 70. Moving to the New Orleans Saints, best rating for me is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who got a 70 overall, and there's maybe some Florida Gator bias in that. 90 speed, he had 70 plus in man and zone coverage as well, because he is a converted cornerback, and it was a tremendous selection for the Saints. My favorite selection of their draft. Worst rating for the Saints, going back to the offensive line, is center Eric McCoy from Texas A&M. He only got a 67 overall. I had him regarded, I think, as the number 2 center, right behind Garrett Bradbury of the Minnesota Vikings, who went in the first round. And again, I just think 67, just a tad bit too low. I think he could have done with a 69, 70, somewhere in that territory. And then finishing up in the division with the Carolina Panthers, I'm giving best rating to Brian Burns, outside linebacker from Florida State. Tremendous athlete. He got a 75 overall with 88 speed, 78 finesse move, 84 pursuit. So the developmental ability for this guy is going to be high. Now, it is a little annoying that we don't know the dev traits yet for these rookies. But I think a guy like Brian Burns is going to be the first of the candidates that he's listed as an outside linebacker. I think he might even be more beneficial to your team as a defensive end. So, especially because, I think there's some rumors that they might switch to a 3-4. But as far as I know right now, they're running a 4-3 in Carolina. And I think a guy like Brian Burns moving to defensive end, you might be able to utilize his abilities just that much more. Worst rating for the Panthers, I'm going again, offensive line. Greg Little, 65. He did have not a great testing process. Came in maybe arguably the best tackle in the class, and then through the combine, through the workout stuff, started to slip a little bit, but I think he should have been high 60s, not a 65. And actually, I had a sleeper here for the Carolina Panthers. Jordan Scarlett from my Florida Gators, just coming in, 90 speed, 90 carrying. So he's going to be a guy, keep a look out on your free agency waiver wires. He could be a practice squad player, a surprise cut there for the Panthers. I mean, in real life, he might not even make the roster. They also have Elijah Holyfield from Georgia. There's some running backs that they have there in Carolina. But Scarlett, 90 speed, 90 carrying. There you go, man. That right there. If you're running an underrated team, you're trying to have a cupcake roster, some starting point like that, where you're looking for guys that are like, 65 or below, keep an eye on Jordan Scarlett. I think there's some good value there. Moving to the NFC North, we're going to start with the Chicago Bears. Best rating for me, I give it to Emmanuel Hall, 67 overall wide receiver from Missouri, 93 speed, 79 catching. So for a lot of these ratings, we are going to talk about speed because, generally speaking, speed is incredibly valuable to most of the Madden players. Not all, obviously. Once you get, be a little bit more extreme, you don't need to rely on speed. But generally speaking, when the guy's really, really fast, we want to talk about it because he is going to be, Madden caters to the more athletic players. And then with the same regard, the worst rating here for the Bears was David Montgomery, the running back. He got a 71 overall, which is not bad, given the fact that he was a third-round selection. But he has 84 speed. That's going to be a tough sell. No matter how well his ball carrier vision and running between the tackles and juke and making guys miss, I mean, 84 speed, it's a tough sell. 84 speed is going to be a tough sell for gameplay. It's going to be a tough sell for development because speed usually is something that doesn't, progress as fast as some of the other traits. So that's just something to take note of. Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings. I have a best and worst is one player within itself, and that is Irv Smith Jr., the tight end out of Alabama. He got a 75 overall with 85 speed, 81 catching. So the good is that if you're doing like a Vikings franchise, you have your successor to Kyle Rudolph. You can move on from, not a great contract for an older tight end. That's still pretty good. But also, I'm going to say that's the worst because I think that Irv Smith, he got the second highest rating for a tight end, right behind TJ Hawkinson, ahead of Noah Fant, and I don't necessarily agree with that rating. I think he should have been clearly number 3. and below Noah Fant. So I think 75 is a little bit generous knowing the ratings. I probably would have given Irv Smith 72, 73, somewhere in that territory. Moving on to the Detroit Lions, best rating goes to TJ Hawkinson, getting a 77 overall, 82 speed, 83 catching are his big two stats. He's going to be very, very good. And with no more Gronkowski in the Madden world, I think a guy like Hawkinson, especially in your franchise modes, give you 5 years in, he's probably going to be the Gronk equivalent. Worst rating was Jelani Tavai, the linebacker from Hawaii, getting a 69 overall. Understanding, for example, that he's like within like 2-3 points of Devin Bush, Devin White in that territory. Far too rich for my blood for a guy that I kind of thought was a surprising pick for the Detroit Lions in round number 2. And then finishing up, we have the Green Bay Packers, whose best rating, I'm going to give it to Darnell Savage, the safety out of Maryland. 72 overall with 93 speed, 73 zone coverage, 80 pursuit. Again, I always talk about just the weirdos that like to control safeties. I guess there is a segment of you guys out there that do like to control your safeties. And Savage is going to be a beast for that. And no bad ratings for the Packers. I think, generally speaking, all the Packers ratings were fairly agreeable. Moving to the NFC East, we're going to start with the Washington Redskins. Best rating goes to Montez Sweat, 73 overall with 91 speed, 93 acceleration, and 75 finesse move. Freaky. Absolute freaky. Classified as an outside linebacker, moving to a 4-3 defensive end. Good night. That's all you got to know. Good night. And no bad ratings for the Redskins. Moving to the New York Giants, best rating for me was Mr. Dexter Lawrence, who got a 76 overall. He's 340 pounds, got 81 acceleration, 92 strength, and 83 tackling. I think in terms of growth and development, he's going to be the best nose tackle in your franchise modes as you progress into year 3, 4, and 5. And the worst rating for the Giants, I have to bring it up. Daniel Jones got a 63 overall. I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, it reflects just maybe how big of a reach it was in the first round for the Giants to make it. My God. I love Mr. Dave Gettleman, but I think 63 still is a little bit low given the potential for Daniel Jones. Seeing guys like Drew Lock get 67, you know, I probably would put Daniel Jones around that range, not 63, not on the low end. Like, he's below Tyree Jackson, who's an undrafted free agent. Well, personally, I like Tyree Jackson more than I like Daniel Jones. They're pretty much the same type of player. High ceilings, but need a lot of time in development. I feel like 63 might have been a little too harsh for Daniel Jones. Moving to my Philadelphia Eagles, the best rating, I give it to J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, getting a 73 overall, which is a great rating for a second-round pick. 89 speed, he's like, what, 6'3", 225, 89 speed, 82 catching, 87 catching traffic. Good luck. Good luck stopping the Eagles in the red zone this year. Worst rating, I'm giving Andre Dillard. As much as I wasn't a huge fan of the pick, a bunch of people were saying he's arguably the best tackle in the class, and well, understanding that the ratings are generally low, still a 70 for a first-round pick. It's a shock. It's a shock. It takes some adjusting to. So yeah, best pick for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going with Tony Pollard, the running back from Memphis. He got a 68 overall with 93 speed, 93 acceleration, 85 carrying, also has 70 catching. Very overpowered. Now, he is one of the first kind of players that the rating seems kind of skewed from the combine. I know that he's faster than when he ran at the combine, but still, you know, how much validity do you go into pro days? They always say you got to add like a couple hundredths of a second to a pro day 40 time. Doesn't seem like they did. It just seems like the ratings are skewed. Like, am I going to talk about him? I'm going to talk about him just a little bit. But Cedric Woods, with the fastest 40-yard dash time at the combine, he ran a 4.29. He only has 93 speed. When there's other guys in this class that clearly ran slower that had higher ratings. I feel like, you know, yeah, play speed and all that stuff. And sometimes it is different. But ultimately, I still think, you know, you should have, you know, prioritize the official 40-yard dash at the combine above all. But Pollard looks like a great pick there and a fun player to use in Dallas. Worst pick is Tristan Hill, the defensive tackle from UCF. 72 overall is far too high for a guy that was almost consensus like a third-round pick. A little bit, a smidgen of a reach in the second round. Had some off-the-field issues. Attitude problems was the red flag, the resounding red flag about him. But 72? No. Oh, absolutely not for Tristan Hill, the Dallas Cowboys. Moving into the AFC. For the Oakland Raiders, best rating I'm giving Clelin Ferrell. 74 overall, 86 acceleration, 81 tackling, 80 pursuit. Got to take a while to develop him to be the successor to Khalil Mack, but he's there. The potential is there. Worst rating I'm giving to Foster Moreau. Got a 69. I think that should have just been maybe. I would have given him in the 70. You know, when Kahea Waring for the Texans got a 70, I would have given Moreau 70. But again, you know, really picking and trying to find something negative there. Kansas City Chiefs, best rating, McCole Hardman, getting a 70 overall, 95 speed, 80 catching. That last speed, they were him and Tyreek Hill. The Chiefs are going to be super overpowered this year. Worst rating, Gary Johnson, the linebacker from Texas, only getting a 57. Feel like that's far too low for a guy that, you know, obviously killed the combine. I think his tape was a little bit underrated. I'm someone that usually does not rate Texas prospects overly high. Moving to the Chargers, best rating for the Chargers, Jerry Tillery, getting a 74 overall, the D tackle out of Notre Dame, 84 acceleration, 87 strength, and 78 power move. Considering that maybe it's the weakness of the very, very good Charger defense, a guy like Tillery sooner or later is just going to establish himself as a stud. And it's probably by the time that Ingram starts to slow down, starts to regress, you're going to have Tillery going at full speed along with Mr. Bosa. Then taking a look at the Denver Broncos, I'm giving the best rating to Noah Fant, who got a 74 overall, 89 speed, 78 catching. Worst rating for me is Brett Rippon, the quarterback from Boise State, only getting a 56. A lot of people thought he was one of the more sleeper prospects, I guess you could say, at the quarterback spot. I think 56 is a little low. Honorable mention here, though, for the Denver Broncos of another really nice rating is Justin Hollins, the outside linebacker from Oregon. 66 overall, but he has high 80 speed, tremendous athlete. I think one of those guys that if you move into defensive end, he's going to be a user god for you on your D lines. Moving up to the AFC South, we're going to start with the Tennessee Titans, where I'm giving the best rating to Jeffrey Simmons, the D tackle at Mississippi State. Got a 74 overall, 89 strength, 80 tackling, classified as a defensive end. Just really, really versatile. If you're generally speaking like of a draft or something like that, I'd more so would put him at D tackle, which is a great pick there for the Titans. Jacksonville Jaguars, Beck pick is Josh Allen, the outside linebacker, defensive end. He can play it all from Kentucky, getting a 77 overall, 86 speed, 83 tackling, 85 pursuit. Is absolutely nasty. Worst rating, I'm giving it to Zedrick Woods. Like I said, he had the fastest 40-yard dash time. He got a 61 overall, but only 93 speed. Just doesn't quite match up there, personally. Shout out to, actually, Raquel Armstead, the running back from Temple. He's getting a sleeper rating. He's your speed truck running back in this class. There's always that running back that has 89, 90, 91 speed with high, mid, low 80s, somewhere in the 80s of trucking. I always have liked those backs, and Armstead is one to keep an eye on. Moving to the Houston Texans, best rating is going Kalea Warning, the tight end from San Diego State, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yes, 70 overall with 83 speed, 76 catching, 76 catch from traffic for a team that desperately needs a tight end, an athletic one at that. Warning is going to be great. Worst rating for me was Max Sharping, the tackle from Northern Illinois, only getting a 65. I would have had that closer to 70, high 60s. Looking at the Indianapolis Colts, best rating went to Paris Campbell. We'll get a 71 overall with 94 speed, 82 catching, height, weight, speed, along with T.Y. Hilton, who's quick within his own right. Great fit there for the Colts. And it's going to be very fun to use him as a user wide receiver because he's going to, just have him run streaks. It'll be good. Or slants. Slants or streaks. Moving on to the AFC North, starting with the Cleveland Browns. Best rating went to Greedy Williams, who got a 73 overall, 93 speed, 76 man, 78 press. For the best corner in the draft class. I'm glad that even though he did slip, they still gave him a good rating. Worst rating for the Browns is Mac Wilson, the linebacker from Alabama, only getting a 64. Probably should have had, I would have had him probably 67, 68, somewhere in that territory. Really a surprising slip for him in the draft. Pittsburgh Steelers, best rating went to Devin Bush. I'm giving him the best and the worst. He's the best rating because he's going to be still really, really good. 72 overall with 91 speed, 82 tackle, 86 hit power, and 82 pursuit. He's also the worst because he probably should have been lower. If you're going to give someone like Tristan Hill a second-round pick that I personally think is a reach in the second round, a 72. And you can't really compare all these positions apples and oranges, but still at face value, a 72 for Tristan Hill and a 72 for Devin Bush just seems really, really weird. Going to the Cincinnati Bengals, best rating is Jermaine Pratt, the linebacker. 68 overall with 88 acceleration, 85 tackle. Great user, along with the linebacker they got last year out of Texas. Two really good user linebackers. Worst rating is Jonah Williams getting a 72. I know there's a change in the rating scale. Still feel like a guy that's been regarded as a safe prospect in Jonah Williams. I probably would have given him a 74. Finishing with the Baltimore Ravens, best rating for them is Hollywood Brown, who got a 77 overall, 97 speed, 81 catching. That is ridiculous. No bad ratings for the Ravens. They also get another sleeper in Miles Boykin, the wide receiver out of Notre Dame. Got 92 speed, 84 catching, which I think is really, really generous. I think, how can you really, yeah, maybe the drops aren't down there, but how can you really give a wide receiver from that, lacking of an offense in Notre Dame 84 catching? But either way, he is ridiculously overpowered at 6'4". So, yeah, Baltimore Ravens are going to be sweaty. They're going to be a sweaty team to go up against next season. And then finishing up in the AFC East, we're starting with the Jets. Best rating goes to Quinnen Williams. Get the highest rating out of all the rookies. 80 overall, 86 acceleration, 89 strength, and 81 block shed. No bad ratings on the Jets. And a sleeper rating is Blake Cashman, the linebacker from Minnesota. Comes in with 90 speed, 90 acceleration. Very, very fast. Could be a nice little developmental linebacker. Going to the Miami Dolphins, best rating for me was Christian Wilkins, getting a 75 overall, 86 strength, and just no real weaknesses. He's pretty good across the board for all his major D tackle stats. Worst rating was Michael Dieter, the guard from Wisconsin, only getting a 64. I'd have that just a little bit higher. Going to the Buffalo Bills, best rating for me was Ed Oliver, getting a 79 overall, 87 acceleration, 89 strength, 84 tackling. Beast. He's Ed Oliver. And I love him getting a 79. They weren't going to sleep on his rating any bit. Worst rating for me was Dawson Knox getting a 68. You know, just a little low. Tad bit low. Sleeper rating goes to Tyree Jackson. Undrafted QB, got a 64 overall at 6'7", 250. He got 86 speed, 95 throw power. It's going to be fun, whatever way you cut it, to try to use him as, I think he's going to be the top developmental quarterback if you're trying to make a trade, or he might get released if the AI is still not, exactly tweaked. So definitely keep an eye on Tyree Jackson. And then finishing up here with the New England Patriots, best rating for me is N'Keal Harry. Got a 74 overall, 88 speed, 84 catching, 86 spectacular catch. And worst rating is Yadi Kajosa, the tackle from West Virginia, only getting a 61. I think that's really, really low for a guy that had some injury issues, which is why I think his draft stock fell during that process. Underrated rating low for the Patriots is Chase Vinovich. Looks really, really good, got great athletic attributes, and a nice little baseline stat for a end. So there you go, guys. Those are the best and worst Madden 20 rookie ratings for every single team in the National Football League. If you had a chance to look at the ratings and I didn't talk about a player, let me know in the comment section below. What rookie are you most excited to use? Let me know as well. And if it's your first time stopping by, Madden 20 season is just starting on the channel, so you're not going to miss out on any more videos. Hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.